We are here with Scot Englad, former WAND news reporter, and Tara, now, what's your last name, Tara?
Barrett Duzan.
Barrett Duzan,
Yep.
also a former WAND news reporter.
Well, first of all, I call her Tara B, and she calls me Scotty. We were co-anchors for a few years. Tara left about 15 years ago. She left, and then I left about a year after that. Couldn't take it without her.
Yeah.
And I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. She went into a different direction. She moved home, basically. And we stayed in touch over the years. And I was always fascinated with her story of why she left WAND. And I thought it was really, really cool why she left and the reason behind that. And I really wanted to tell her story, and I've wanted to do it for a number of years. Finally got it done. Took us a year to shoot it, a year to edit it, and it turned out exactly like I was hoping.
Well, to be honest, I was a little apprehensive about doing it. Pretty private person, so it was hard to talk about my personal life and hard times that I went through. But if it weren't for Scott and Kylie, I wouldn't have done it. I trusted them to tell my story, and they made me thankful that I did do it. It was way more than I expected it to be. Through the whole process, I didn't even know what it was going to be. Maybe it was a 30-minute thing we'd show at my high school, but when I watched it for the first time, I thought, this is a real movie, you guys. Like, you really put together a movie. So I was really surprised.
She decided to leave a very successful career in broadcasting and had a future. She put in her time.
Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm Tara Barrett.
And I'm Scot Englad. Time flies when you're having fun.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of someone going from the news desk to the tractor seat.
When I worked at WAND, my motto was everybody has a story. No matter if you're famous or rich or whatever, everybody's got a story, and everybody's got something that they're passionate about. You just have to find that passion. A lot of people, when you put a camera in front of their face, they'll freeze up on you and not want to talk. But if you can find the one thing they're passionate about in life, they'll open up to you. And so everybody has a story, and I knew Tara Barrett had a great story, and I knew there was one guy who could tell it, and I was the guy, and it turned out great.
No, it didn't cross my mind growing up, even though I grew up on a farm and I was around it. My grandpa was a farmer, my dad was a farmer, my brother was going to take over the farm, so, and I had always been interested in journalism, and I wanted to be a reporter since I was a kid. Always read the newspaper when I was a kid, so I was determined to go to school to go into journalism. So yeah, farming never crossed my mind. I'd come home to visit the farm and hang out with my family, but it wasn't in my plans.
Tara Barrett is one of the most interesting people I've ever met. H is for Hume, population 400. But Hume is also the hometown of News Center 17's morning anchor, Tara Barrett.
I love being from a small town. I think it's the best. City life would not be for me. I think one of the most special things about being in a small town is when you have hard times or good times, people are always there to help you through the tough times and there to celebrate the good times. And I think we saw that when we showed the documentary to people. I mean, all my friends and family and even outside of my circle were there to support us. And when I went through taking over the farm, I know my parents' friends, my friends, they were all there to help us with anything we needed, even just to answer questions. So I think being from a small town is very special.
Scott, when you started at WAND, how much has it changed from when you started to where it's at now, and obviously when you left the station too?
I couldn't do local news now. I got out right when social media was starting, and I don't need that stress of people commenting about, man, you're fat today, or your hair looks like the 70s, yeah, stuff like that. And so I'm glad I got out right when social media was coming on. And I really, even in my time there, when I started, you have to pay your dues, you have to do what they tell you. And so I had to do the house fires. I had to go stick the microphone in the person's face and say, how do you feel? Like, we knew how they felt. They're watching their house burn down. So you have to do that. You have to do the murders and the accidents. But eventually, I was able to call my own shots a little, and I became the feature reporter, the entertainment reporter. I was the guy that got to do the fun stories, the human interest stories that nobody else would think about for TV. And that's what kept me in TV for so long. I was able to do that, and I was able to do, I think, memorable stories with just average people. And a lot of people remember me after I've been gone for 15 years because I was doing those kind of stories. If I was the guy standing in front of the murder scene talking about it, they wouldn't remember you really. We were good friends, and but we weren't super close friends. We didn't go out to eat and stuff after work. Not really did, because we all had our own families.
Just laughed a lot.
Yeah, we tried to laugh during, and it was kind of at times, especially the management, they would hassle Greg about anything. They would hassle me about anything. Tara was the golden girl. She never got hassled. But the three of us, it was kind of us against them mentality. I'm just trying to keep my job, really, basically. And Greg was pushing the envelope every day with what he would do, and it made it fun, made it entertaining, made it, we had to get up at 2 a.m. in the morning, so
especially that early, like, I don't know, if you don't have humor, you're probably going to be miserable. Like, I mean, really, and a lot of that social media, Facebook was starting to get incorporated into it, and we would have to read like live comments on air, which was a disaster. I mean, nobody filtered them through them. But, and then you'd go to a commercial break and be like, what was that? We just had a good time.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Scot Englad.
And I'm Tara Barrett. It is 6 a.m. and Greg Trumbull is in the house.
Did somebody say Tara Barrett? The gang is all here.
We're just
2 a.m. was the morning wake-up call for the news station. I mean, we were on air at 5, so...
She has a great sense of humor.
With Tara, what you see on TV is what she is off the air. She is truly the girl next door who happens to be a great TV news anchor.
I think while working with my dad, I probably unknowingly was learning stuff just by watching him, while I still had a lot to learn when I was by myself. Just listening to him talk about things, and listening to other people. I think even if you've been farming for 40 years, you still have to be willing to learn, because it's always changing. There's always new technology. That was one thing I remember between my grandpa and my dad. There was a point where my grandpa couldn't run the combine anymore because he didn't know, when they changed everything and there was new technology, he didn't know how to run it anymore. So my dad kind of, you have to be willing to learn new things. So I think that was good that I had some base knowledge, but I still had a lot to learn when I was on my own, and still have a lot to learn.
Scott, seeing her thrive so well, what'd that mean to you from a coworker standpoint?
We had stayed in touch over the years, and I would always, when I would come back and forth from Nashville, I'd try to get together with her and say, hey, you want to go out to lunch? And she was always too busy. She could never get away, and she was always in the field. And so eventually I'd say, well, what field are you in? And I would meet up with her and ride a few laps around the field. And we would visit then. And I knew she was up to anything she would want to take on. And Tara is hoping for another bin-busting crop.
Journalism, I liked that, so it never even crossed my mind.
But then he came up with a surprising proposal.
He came to me and asked me if I would be interested in coming to help him, and then I would have downtime to stay home with my daughter and to kind of make my own schedule. So that sounded appealing to me. Once you have a baby, you're like, well, yeah, I want to stay with him as much as I can. I just kind of did what he told me to do, and he took care of everything else. So as far as like, there's just so much that goes into it that you don't know until you are in it and you are running it. To go from wearing a suit every day to, jeans and a hoodie, it's my typical attire. I didn't know all the specific things he did throughout the year. You know, in my mind, it was like, come help at harvest, come help at planting, you know, mowing in the summer. Got to spend a lot of time with my kids in the winter, so farming was easy. But when you're the one doing it, making all the decisions, you realize it's year round and there are constantly decisions to be made. And he said, I can't do it anymore. I'm just in too much pain. He said, do you think you could spray this field? And I was like, no, I can't. Like, I have no idea what I mean, I'm riding with you, but I don't know what I'm doing. I told him I'm sorry, I can't. So he finished spraying it and we came home and I helped him out and we drove him in a golf cart home and he really was bedridden after that. What was that like for you when Dad got sick?
Oh, my heart was broken.
Got the crop in that spring, and then I took over by myself, harvested that first harvest in 2018.
Ron passed away in July. So obviously we've got the crop in the ground. Gonna have to do something with it in the fall, and it all landed on Tara.
And I was like, well, I'm taking it over. Like, I remember telling people that at the visitation, like, I'm taking it over. Even though I wasn't sure that I could do that, I just was saying that because I wanted to. I was going to try to.
Put in a very difficult situation when the person that's taught you everything you know is all of a sudden not there anymore to help you and can't ask them a question or anything, and so very tough situation for her.
We have 3 different farm managers, so I called all of those farm managers right away and told them what happened and that we wanted to continue farming. It's scary to get into a big piece of equipment. Like, now it seems like nothing to get in that sprayer and back it out of the shed, but if you've never been in it, you're looking at this, or the combine, you know, you're looking at these huge pieces of equipment, like, I'm gonna back that out of the shed without hitting it on something, or it's really intimidating. And then you get in there and there's 500 buttons. And in 2011, and he passed away in 2018. You know, it sounds like a lot of time to be on the farm, so you would have learned a lot. However, I had never thought about taking over the farm. I didn't learn how to run the combine, and I had no idea what he did in his office, and didn't, you know, I knew the basics. I knew how to drive the trucks. I knew how to haul the grain in and clean out the bins. When it got into taking it over, I realized how much I didn't know. Pour everything I had into it to try to at least give it a run and see if I could handle it, so.
She was there for Ron when he really needed it, and that's what counts.
And the memories that she made with her dad in the short period of time that she was with him before he died, she'll take those the rest of her life, because in that atmosphere of being a farmer, they had it all together, and they had the joy of working together.
I have found women online showing them with their kids in the tractor with them, and you know how it's a family operation, and they show you their daily lives and what they're doing. So I think that's been great, of really showcasing women on the farm and women in agriculture. Said, I think it's going to be kind of like drinking from a fire hose, but I think you could do it.
That's right. Drinking from the fire hose. That's right.
It's like, what's that mean? And he's not wrong. It is. I mean, it's overwhelming.
Because she had a lot of information coming at her pretty quick that she was having to process and make decisions on.
Because there was so much I did not know, like a lot that I did not know.
Decision to sell her father's combine.
I always stop and take my annual picture. This field butts right up to the cemetery where my dad and my brother are buried, right next to each other. So, I'm glad they're right here. I always like doing this field because I feel like they're definitely with me when I'm going through here, even though I know they're with me all the time. emotional. I mean, harvest is always kind of an emotional time for me, really. Yeah, I always just stop and take a picture. Just kind of a reminder that they're with me when I'm in this field.
They saw her come back, and then they saw her dad pass away. There had to have been a bridge there that said, we want to stick with her. We like what she's doing. There was a confidence in there. But I think hats off to the people that stuck with her. And I think probably it was a good decision for them.
Tara is thankful for those who stuck by her over the last decade, and that loyalty paid off for everyone. The farmer's daughter has proven she could handle all the ground her father did. And as she looks into the future, she is hoping to expand her family's operation.
Dave Brown is an amazing resource to have. Honestly, I hadn't really kept in touch with him. I hadn't seen him in a long time. But I guess he's a good split of having that TV background and as well being a farmer. I don't think I could probably live up to his standards of his farming knowledge, nor just how well he talks about agriculture. So he's definitely someone to look up to, and really just, I was kind of surprised about all the amazing things he said about me. I hadn't seen him in so long, but you know, same old Dave Brown, just an amazing guy.
Dave was one of the very first people we interviewed for the film. And Dave always loved Tara. He always loved me. And we had stayed in touch over the years. After I moved to Nashville, he came down a number of times to see me in Nashville. And so I knew I wanted him to be a part of the film. On my last day at WA&D, he was there. I think he was there on Tara's last day. Mm-hmm. And so he's a huge part of the film. Yeah. He was so great when I was looking at it back, logging it and writing it. I thought, we ought to just have this guy narrate the whole thing. But that would have taken my part out. So he didn't get to be the official narrator, but he has a huge part in it. And he's still a huge part of it because he's such a, once he saw it, the finished product, he has done everything he can to spread the word. I've probably today gotten at least a half dozen text messages from him saying, I called this person, they're expecting your call to help promote your movie. I mean, that's what he's done since the movie has come out. I've got just so many people that have called saying, hey, Dave Brown told me this movie's great, so let's talk about it.
Why do this story on her?
It was all her idea. She wanted the spotlight. Yeah. She wanted it. No.
Needs some FaceTime.
Just the opposite. But it was just when she left to help her dad on the farm, I thought, there's no other female anchor who would ever do that. When they leave, they go to PR jobs, they go to something like that. And I thought, this is really never done. And then when her dad died and she became the farmer, she took over the operation, I said, we need to tell this story.
How was it having a camera crew follow you around for a year?
Oh, it was strange. You know, I think at first, I'll be honest, I really dreaded it. There's something about being the interviewee instead of the interviewer. I much prefer that position than just being on camera. I mean, I was younger and thinner, and life was just a little different when I was an anchor before, you know. Now I'm over 40 and have 2 kids and a lot more stress, and I just really didn't want to be on camera, but here I am. At the end of July, Callie will start her school softball, and they'll play alternate August, beginning of September, and then she goes right into basketball, and then that goes until November, and she's got a couple weeks off, and then volleyball starts. So I can stay for your whole game. All right, off to the ballpark. Let's go, Callie. Go, Callie. Go. I have to yell to encourage her if she gets into a slump, and little reminders. Or maybe she doesn't want me to. Maybe I should be quiet. I don't know. Hey, Callie. And I'm also running the concession stand.
She not only does the farm, she gets involved with the school board and everything else.
I enjoy being involved. I mean, if you ask me to help out with something, I'll probably say yes.
I think it's great that he thinks so much of me. He probably thinks a lot more of me than I think of myself, but no, I appreciate that he wanted to tell my story. I guess I'm starting to see a little bit why. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, if you don't know me, do you really care about my personal story? But I've had people tell me, well, while it is about you, it's about so much more than that. It's about small towns and farmers and farming families, because I think that's a big thing. It is all about your family. It's not just you. Your family's involved in it. Whether they're, it takes teamwork to get through those really busy seasons, especially. So that made me feel good that it is about me, but it's really more than that.
It started out as a tribute to Tara, and it still is. It's also a tribute to every female farmer in the country, every small farming operation in the country. It's a tribute to them, and I hope all of them see it. And she said, didn't know if anybody that didn't know her would be interested. It's only been out on Amazon Prime Video for a week, and we already know that people in Italy, England are buying it, are watching it, Canada, lots of people from around the world are starting to see her story. And just this weekend, she's getting the messages, she's getting the comments from the people who are being touched by this movie. And imagine that it's a documentary about farming, okay? Sounds not all that exciting. They are crying. They are laughing and they are crying and they're laughing. They're being touched by this movie, and she's finally figuring that out by the comments that the people are leaving.
So honestly, when I left, my dad and I had kind of talked about me helping him out, but I could kind of make my own schedule. But the thought was that I would get to spend a lot of time with my daughter, who had just had, so I have this little baby, and I'm like, oh, that'll be great. We really didn't go into details of what I would be doing, so I kind of thought like, oh yeah, I'll probably be in an office, like filing papers or something, and I can have my daughter with me, and it didn't really go that way. So the first day, I think I was like airing up tires, and he was showing me how to change oil, and I was just like, I'm not sure that this is what I signed up for, but and just trying to go to work and like, I'm used to being in a suit and full makeup, like do I wear makeup to the farm? I don't know, I won't see anybody but my dad. So it really kind of turned into something that we weren't even sure what we were getting into. So I still got that nice balance with my daughter, because I wasn't the one making all the decisions and doing anything in the office. So I definitely got the best of both worlds.
As far as your side of it, Tara, you get up at 2 a.m. for TV, you get on the air at 5 a.m. How much of a transition is that for you as a full-time farmer now?
I mean, it's different. I couldn't get up at 2 a.m. and drive an hour to work for sure. I think that's something you do in your 20s, but...
You still get up early.
Yeah, not 2 a.m. early. I don't have any livestock, we'll just put it that way, thankfully. I could not do that. That's a whole different lifestyle. There's people that do that, and it's even harder. But yeah, I mean, it's different in a lot of ways, but it's still long hours. I mean, the TV station was long hours, you're supposed to get off at 1, but you don't, or, so, and we were just talking about today, like there are some similarities I didn't think about. There's deadlines. You have to have things done by a certain time. So there's still the rush of, when you were a reporter, you had got a story and you had to get it back and you had to get it on the air. Just like with farming, it's like we've got 3 days before it rains, so we have to try to get what we can done. So there's that rush, I guess.
The one day I heard and she announced that she was going back to the farm, and I said, "You're doing what?"
Maybe TV prepared me to work under the gun and have the stress on your shoulders, and actually now I think about it probably did a little bit. But yeah, I don't think anything can really prepare you for such a different field of work. I think I just kind of like had my feet put into the fire and just learned as I went.
Which was more stressful, TV or farming?
Oh gosh.
I was just getting ready to ask that question.
Well, I mean, definitely farming, because it's my money on the line for all the decisions I make, and it just kind of seems like a gamble sometimes. You never know if you did make the right decision, or I should have sold back then, or yeah, it's my dime on the line.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you about, Tara, was you go from obviously you're on TV, but you're not making decisions like the people up ahead of you are compared to at the farm. Now you're in charge.
Yeah.
How much does the mindset change for that part of it?
Oh, it definitely changes. At the TV station, I feel like I was really thinking about other people. I mean, you're telling other people's stories, you're talking about other people. Like you said, people in their house fires are going through their own tragedies. Like, it could be a tough day if it was a heavy day of news. And then on the farm, you're worrying about yourself and your family every day, and hoping you're making the right decisions, and hoping that you get enough rain, and hoping you don't get too much rain, which hasn't been an issue lately. Hoping that whatever's going on in the world doesn't affect your livelihood for years to come. So, I mean, I think there's definitely a different pressure.
Following off of that storm that came through your house, the 90-mile-an-hour winds, and shockingly, the crops weren't blown over. But talk about that moment of knowing that, okay, it's coming, but you never know what Mother Nature's going to bring either.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, you've got basically all your money sitting outside, and you hope it's going to be okay. And there's really just nothing you can do about it other than invest in crop insurance and hope that gets you close to breaking even. I mean, it is risky, and it is stressful for those reasons that a lot of things, while there are things in your control, there's a lot not in your control.
And then as far as your dad's chair that's in the combine now too,
Yeah.
what'd that mean to you to have them give that memory to you as well?
Yeah, that was a really big surprise. I just never dreamed. I don't think anybody probably had a thought of, we should see if we could get that seat out of that combine and make a chair for her. Never crossed my mind when he told me he had a surprise for me. I thought, what could that be? And when I saw it, I thought, is that what I think it is? It was really amazing, and I use it every day in my office, so it's great.
And you know what? We never took our chair from WA&D, the anchor seat. We never took it.
No.
We should have.
Yeah.
She never had that sense of I'm better than someone else or I'm on TV. So no, it was always down to earth, and it was always a real genuine sense of connecting with the audience. It felt like she was talking to you.
Center 17's Tara Barrett joins us from the House Chambers in Springfield now. Tara, what did you hear from people today?
You kind of knew that there was something special about her, that she wanted to do more, that she was a good storyteller, that she had the drive to do a little bit more. So she just kind of worked her way up.
That's hard to do. It's really hard to express oneself honestly on television, and she did that very well.
Being a farmer myself, and I know the passion and the love of the farm, and I thought, this is very interesting for what she's going to go do.
It has been fun. We got the whole group in the house. Greg Trumbull.
Hey, you know what? I mean, okay, we've had some, Scott Englad is back with us, which is good news. Tara Barrett.
Tara Babe.
Had the baby, yay, and now she's back.
Actually, I believe I went on maternity leave and then just told him I wasn't coming back. Welcome back, crossed out.
Yeah. And I got it to the checkout, and they said, did they mess up? And I said, no, that's the way I ordered it.
That's funny.
Welcome back, Tara.
Who would think that you would have such a career change from what we do following the news?
I think it was love for her family to go back and work with her father and her mother side by side on a daily basis.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Tara Barrett.
And I'm Scot Englad at 6:30 on a Friday morning as we say goodbye to our friend Tara Barrett.
That's the last time I'll say that.
Oh, I farm now. People say, you do? Like you actually are in a tractor? I'm like, yeah, I'm really in the tractor.
Ron Barrett loved having his daughter helping on the farm.
Sometimes a scary decision ends up being the best decision, so I just decided to jump and say, let's do it. So far, so good.
Tara's day will end almost 17 hours after it began, long before sunrise.
We've been talking about this backward C shape, never a pretty scenario because as the storms race out, very indicative of a wind damage scenario.
We had a tree that fell on our house. It had hailed earlier that morning, so we had some hail damage. Tuscola had tennis ball size hail. I'm just glad it's standing. I guess I should say that. I'm thankful that it's just the door because the shed's, I don't even know, 70 years old, I'm guessing. So no power since 1 o'clock yesterday, probably. I'd heard up to 90-mile-an-hour winds, and they stretched out across central Illinois, so it was widespread damage in our area. So thousands of people without power. We have a generator I picked up yesterday, and we have our refrigerators and our freezers, and then we've got another cord to plug our phones, and we're able to get the water heater plugged in so we can shower. We're told it might be a couple days, so might be without power for a while. All the little towns around here, there's just trees down everywhere, and on my way back from Champaign, saw some corn down, not completely down, hopefully it's not snapped, and it'll pop back up. But the crops, we did not have any damage, thankfully. I really don't know how with that strong of winds, but we got through unscathed.
And I had this little idea of making a chair for her.
When he brought it in, I'm like, what is that? He's like, it's your dad's chair from his combine. And I was just blown away. I was like, they took the seat out of the combine?
I did have to go to the Lori's Pins and Needles to pick up some fabric.
And I think it's amazing. So it's my new office chair. Like, I never even dreamed someone would think, I didn't think about doing something like that, you know? And I don't know, it just really warmed my heart that he even thought about that, and it's really special to me.
For the landlords that she has or the farm partners to stick with her says something about them. She's a seasoned farmer.
Oh, I'm just so proud of her, of course. She tells you a little bit about her character and about her adjustability and about her willingness, to make that farm a success.
She is running a business, probably a multi-million-dollar business.
Well, after I graduated college, I had my resume taped to be a reporter. That's what I wanted to do. And staying around this market, I had trouble getting my foot in the door as a reporter, so I started out as a photographer. I did that for a year or two, and then I started reporting and did that for a couple years, and then ended up becoming the morning anchor. So yeah,
Wow.
I was there for a total of 7 years, I believe. So.
How about for you, Scott? How long were you at WA&D?
I was there a total of a decade. And the first time I met Tara, I worked there for about 6 years or so. And then I took a little break for about a year. And I was in Sullivan, and a tornado came through and tore up some of the downtown area. And so I went to check it out, and I saw this girl, she was a photographer at the time, messing with a big, heavy tripod that they had back then. She was having trouble, and I went up to her, and I said, I'm the celebrity in Sullivan, everybody knows
We're talking
me.
pro camera.
Everybody knows me, and she had a heavy camera and heavy tripod. I said, hey, you need any help with that? No, I don't need any help. And I said, well, I used to do that. Sure you don't need any help. I used to work at WA&D, Scott Englad. Didn't even, just blew me off. So I'm like, okay. And then that was like 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
25 years ago, 20 years ago. And we've been together ever since. My story is totally different, and here we are at Eastern Illinois University, which is pretty cool. I started on the radio the day after I graduated high school, and I'd signed up to go to Lakeland College. Well, I'm from Allenville, Illinois, population 200 back then, now it's 150. And so I took a tour of Lakeland, and I was a country boy. And man, I don't want to go here. It's too big. This is scary. It's scary, and I would get lost here. And so I started on the radio, and about a month or two into it, they made me full-time. And the boss said, "What you gonna do in the fall?" I said, "Well, I'm going to Lakeland." "Man, you don't need to go to Lakeland. You already got a full-time job. You're already a radio DJ." Man, that was all I was looking to hear. Yes, great. I'm not going. And I didn't go. And that move cost me a decade at least of my life of not going. So I moved from local radio to radio. Eventually got on a tiny TV station, low power station in Effingham, and learned it all, photography and all that. Sent a resume to WAND, didn't hear back. And I was angry at this low power station. There were only two people that worked there. I was angry. And so I sent maybe 3 or 4 resumes and tapes to WAND. Finally, they hired me as a photographer. But it took a long time. It took me years. And then tried to move on from there, and you'd see these college kids come in. They didn't have very much experience. I was the greatest editor that WAND had at the time. I would teach them how to edit, and I would see them move on. They'd move on to the big time, and here I am teaching the next college kid because I didn't have the college diploma. Didn't have it. And so that decision to not go cost me a decade. I say I eventually got to where I had dreamed of going. Moved on to the RFD network in Nashville. Now my day job, I write autobiographies for the country music artists, write books, and own a country music newspaper. I'm doing everything I dreamed of doing, but it took me an extra decade. I should have been in Nashville in my 30s instead of my 50s, you know. And so that was really the way it worked. So here at Eastern, after not going, and now here I am, the star. Like, wow.
What do you enjoy so much about the country music landscape?
Oh, well, I was a country fan. That was always my dream, to live and work in Nashville. That was it. That was what I wanted to do. I didn't play, didn't sing, but I found my niche at age 50. I started writing books, and I wrote Ronnie McDowell's, Johnny Lee, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places, Mo Bandy, William Lee Golden, the Oak Ridge Boys, and a whole bunch more. I got to become friends with my heroes, and still am. As they're signing books, as we're selling books, I'm with them forever. I'm with the artist forever, basically.
Who's your favorite artist of all time?
Of the books I've written, William Lee Golden of the Oaks. He's my very best friend in life. He knows my secrets, I know his, and he's the greatest guy in the world. He's my greatest friend.
You watched WAND quite a bit, and what are your thoughts on when you were there and to where it's at now?
I don't watch it. I don't know. The only one left there is Sean, that I know on the air. Everybody had come behind the scenes, so I don't really watch it that much.
Can't get it in Nashville.
No, you can't get it in Nashville. And when I come up once a month to help take care of my mother and check on her, and in Allenville, population 150. And when I'm there, I usually turn the TV to channel 20, to be honest, because I'm close friends with Dawn Sterling, and when Dawn moved from WAND to 20, I kind of moved with her just to cheer her on.
And when you put it together, she was a part of the whole documentary as well. What'd that mean to you as well?
She was. She knew Tara, you know, and she was there when Tara was there, and I wanted her involved. She did great. And then we had a showing this weekend in Shelbyville, and Dawn came. She brought her husband, her daughter, her mother. I mean, she brought her whole family. That's been a lot, because I know how busy she is. I know how far away she lives. For her to be there, it's been a lot.
So they first showed it to me and my family a few months ago, right after Christmas. And again, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who all they'd interviewed. I hadn't seen any of the footage. Obviously didn't know anything he had written and how they were going to piece it together. I was blown away. It was way more than I was expecting. When he told me I would laugh. I thought, I don't remember anything funny happening, but, and then cry. I figured I probably would. Did way more of both of those things than I thought I would, and every time I watch it, I'm probably well over a dozen times now, and I think I probably won't cry this time. I've seen it so many times. I know the story well, and it still gets me. But I just, having my grandma in there, she's the star of the show. Everyone laughs at her. That's so special to me. There's a lot of video. They wanted old home family video. I thought we don't have any of that, but we were able to dig through some VHS tapes, and I'm sure Kylie spent many hours going through tapes that had no meaning at all because they weren't labeled, and found, it looks like more than we have, but little snippets of my dad and us when we were younger, and that alone, would have never found it, didn't know it existed. That alone makes it really special to me. So
it was what I had envisioned it would be, and I had a pretty high up expectation, and it reached that and probably more. Because Kylie, who was the filmmaker, he did all of the shooting, he did all of the editing, everything that I would ask him to shoot, he would do it, and then he'd come back, and it was just 10 times what I had hoped it would be. And he's the one that really did all the magic, and then we had to. It was a big chore to do the music for it, and big expense too. We had to pay for the licensing and all of that, and so you have to match that music with what's going on. And so it turned out really great. We're thrilled with the response. We're thrilled that it got on Amazon Prime Video, which independent films these days, they don't pick to be on Amazon Prime Video. And especially ones about farming, documentary. So we're thrilled with that. We're thrilled that it's getting seen. I did it so people could see Tara's story, and they're seeing it around the world right now. And Tyler, you came to see me at WAND?
Back 16, 17 years ago, I
when
came
you were
up
just
to you.
A kid.
Yes.
Wow.
That's why I'm like, when you were when you emailed me today and you said you're going to be in the area, I'm like, I was on cloud 9.
And I was nice to you. I was nice to you all that time. And,
I met you, and I'm like, it's because of what you guys did. Is why WND was so good.
It warped you for life. Of what we were nice to you that day, and now look at you. You're doing what we were doing.
On your own terms.
On your own terms.
Yes.
Be your own boss. That's the secret.
She's done amazing things. She's learned a lot. She's overcame a lot of things. I'm proud of everything she's learned and how she handles everything. She does a really good job.
For years, I have had the title in my mind, and then you didn't find out until you saw the trailer.
When I saw the title, it reminded me, I have a shirt from when I was young that says Farmer's Daughter on it. I was probably 1 or 2 years old. It's got my name on the back. And this is the only piece of clothing that I have.
That shirt is how many years old?
I'll be 43, so,
The Farmer's Daughter. It was meant to be.
I guess. It's just crazy.
Thank you so much for telling the story. Look forward to having a lot of people watch this.